1996 could well be remembered as the year of the rookie. In last weekend's Australian Grand Prix, a sensational Formula One debut by Jacques Villeneuve stood the Formula One establishment on its head. Rookie Craig Lowndes has made an equally stunning first impression in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. But recently, his youthful exuberance has given way to experience. At Bathurst 3 weeks ago, the young Victorian lost his championship lead in spectacular style when a misjudged passing move on Wayne Gardner earned him a $1,000 fine and some valuable thinking time. The Bathurst round proved equally heart-stopping for Glenn Seaton, whose narrow escape from this K9 kamikaze was followed by a high-speed tyre failure. Not surprisingly, Glenn found his mountain climb a little breathtaking. But it was the experienced hands of top place-getters Bow, Johnson and Brock who delivered a stinging response to the kid's early season onslaught. Brock outshone his younger teammate all weekend, while the Shell FAI team's crushing 1-2 result showed that touring cars' old guard is far from surrender. Today, the 7 Network welcomes you to Symmons Plains Raceway in beautiful Tasmania for round 4 of Australia's V8 Civil War. The long straights of the 2.4-kilometre track place a premium on horsepower, while its trio of tight corners also makes it one of the country's toughest on brakes. Out on the plains, only the strongest survive. We'll also take a look at the 2 wheeling stars of the Shell Superbike Series and take time out for a quick chat with Formula One champ Alan Jones. All that and much more to come when the fire-breathing Falcons and Commodores clash in today's V8 grudge match.
Hello Australia, I'm Andy Raymond and welcome to round number 4 in the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. This year's title chase has seen both V8 manufacturers in the winner's circle. It is 2-1 to Holden. The defending series champion is John Bow, a last-up winner and victor here in the corresponding round last year. His consistency puts the Shell FAI Falcon on top of the points ladder. It's tight. There's a narrow gap to Lowndes, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit EF as third, with veterans Dick Johnson and Peter Brock also in the 5. This tight, uncompromising 2.4-kilometre track really is conducive to very, very close and very, very fast action. Can Lowndes do it again? Mark Osler and Bradley Jones, it'd be nice if he erased the bad memories he has from Bathurst.
It certainly would, Andy Raymond, and the guy joining us today, Brad Jones. 3 Commodores on the front 3 positions of the grid. It's been a while since that's happened. Why do you think they were so strong in the wet?
Well, I think it's because of the downforce they get on the rear wing in the wet. It's a very effective spoiler and obviously helps them put the power down.
Well, talking about wet conditions, it was very wet here in qualifying, as Andy said earlier on. Mark Scaife, of course, we took race cam inside the Team Gibson Commodore, slid off. You could see Lowndes going off into the sound as well, and Scaife almost joined him at the same time. Very, very slippery into that turn 1. And Lowndes, of course, was well and truly bunkered there. Took a long time to get him out, but he eventually wanted to take pole position. Dickie Johnson, too, one of many to get caught out by the tricky conditions, slipping into the sand. And Larry Perkins, a real tank slapper here, shows quite graphically how difficult it was in very difficult conditions. Well, the cars are on the grid for Heat 1 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Let's have a look at the grid.
And what a star-studded field it is. Craig Lowndes holds pole position, and it's an all-mobile HRT front row. Peter Brock, position number 2. Row 2, the Coca-Cola Commodore VR of Wayne Gardner, and the Ford Credit Falcon EF of Glenn Seaton.
Row 3 is John Bow in the Shell FAI Falcon with Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore alongside. Row 4, the Gibson Seeger Commodore with Mark Scaife on board, and Dick Johnson in the second Shell FAI Ford.
Row number 5, Pack Leader Racing's Alan Jones with Russell Ingle in one of the Castrol Commodores. Row number 6 is Neil Crompton and Tony Longhurst.
Row number 7, the second of the Pack Leader Falcons with Paul Romano at the wheel. Max Dumsney making his Shell debut this weekend too. Row 8, Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Ford and Stephen Richards in the Valvoline Cummins VR.
Row number 9 has Scotty Taylor and Mike Conway sharing. Row number 10, Steve Ellery and Greg Crick.
5 seconds away from the start of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship battle in Tasmania. Craig Lowndes and Peter Brock on the front row of the grid. Engines bouncing off the rev limiters. The green light goes and Lowndes gets a blinder from pole position. Leaves Brock in his wake. Go! Gardner comes on the charge too. He's up alongside Brock as they come into turn one. It's side by side out of there. Great start from the Shell Ford too. A huge pack of V8s trying to fit through. Mark Larkham gets tapped halfway around, manages to survive, gets on the grass as they head down the back straight for the first time. And we've had a drama on the start line. Dick Johnson backing up pit lane. He got caught up in that melee too, but Lowndes in control. Brock in second, Gardner in third. There's Bow up in fourth and the first of the Castrol Commodores.
A great start from Craig Lowndes.
Look at this. Maximum attack from our reigning champion, John Bow. Sneaks up the inside of Wayne Gardner, puts some real pressure on there, and Larry Perkins, I think it is, follows him through.
Bow started position number 5 from the start and really benefited from the jump that Craig Lowndes gave, as too did Gardner. You can see Seaton lagging a little bit, was behind Peter Brock, and the inside line really capitalised. There is the Mazda, Brock, Bow right on the hammer. Holden V forward.
See the pressure being applied through Coca-Cola corner that time. 3 wide under brakes as they shuffle position on this critical opening lap. It's Lowndes, Brock, Bow, Gardner, Perkins, Seaton, Scaife, Ingle, Crompton as they come down toward Brambles Hampton for the second time. Bow just alongside Brock. There may have been contact there. Maximum braking from 220 kilometres an hour right down to about 50. Really does give the front stoppers a serve. Just such hectic action in this opening lap, Brad.
It is, and Bow will be giving everything he's got to get by Brock. With the Bridgestone tyres that Peter's running, it usually takes him about 3 laps to get the heat right into them to get maximum adhesion. But with the Dunlop, it's only a lap. So as you can see in through the turns here, Bow is all over Brock, but he needs to push on.
And it really is a lottery situation here with tyres this weekend. Of course, they had to qualify in those treacherous conditions yesterday on wet weather tyres. They had to pick their 2 sets of slicks or their 8 tyres just by rule of thumb, by judgment and good calculation. So we really don't know how this situation is going to work out over these 321 lappers. Brock, Bow right behind him down toward Brambles. On the back straight.
John Bow with a brand new engine in the Shell FAI Falcon for this weekend at Symmons Plains. He certainly looks to have the right amount of horses. He's really closed up on the back end of Brock. In the meantime, Craig Lowndes is establishing nice lead out front. It is HRT 1 and 2.
Well, the kid's really done at that time at 54.94 in his first flying lap. Him on the outright, well, the fastest qualifying time last year, and the driver was 54.04. So Lowndes really on it. From the moment that green light went, didn't he get a blinder at the start?
Fantastic start. It almost looked like Brock had the car in 3rd gear rather than 1st, because he hesitated and he went again. So I'd say maybe the wrong gear, or possibly what he's done is dumped the clutch a bit hard and the car's just bogged down.
You saw a puff of smoke there as the brakes locked on the Coca-Cola number 4 car of Wayne Gardner, and right up alongside it looks to be Larry Perkins in the Castrol entry. They head down towards a very tricky hairpin. We saw plenty of moments there in a rain-affected qualifying session yesterday afternoon.
Take race cam with Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. As he gets up behind Wayne Gardner on this back straight, building up 6th gear, 245 kilometres an hour. Has a look up the inside. Gardner gets wide. It's very, very close. As Larry just squeezes through, there may have been contact there under brakes. Gardner comes back on the attack. He's halfway into the side of the Castrol Commodore, and Perkins heads off into the scrub. Well, boy, oh boy, wasn't that close, ferocious stuff under brakes. It went on for a long, long time. Gardner wasn't going to back off, and Perkins paid the penalty.
Larry Perkins is, in fact, the second driver to go off down at the end of the long straight. Glenn Seaton only a lap ago did it all by himself.
So Gardner lives to survive for another day, and now he's got Scaife coming at him. Larry was the last time around. Now Scaife in the Sega Team Gibson Motorsport Commodore. As he comes through the hairpin, looks for a quick run out of here. And I guess it really is just a case of a couple of drag races around this track, Brad.
It's very true. The horsepower is a major player here, and as we see, Larry had plenty. It'll be interesting to see how Scaife goes here against the WGR car.
Here we get race cam. Seeger holds race cam with Mark Scaife as he comes under maximum attack, back, grabs another gear, puts a wheel up on the inside, and Gardner has been hit again.
Wayne just waved at the race cam.
Oh, look at the damage on the front of these cars. That went on for a long, long time. Gardner and Scaife really locked up. All sorts of drama there. And Wayne Gardner will be spitting chips.
And we thought Frank Bruno, Mike Tyson was going to be the major stink of today.
Oh, action, wow. Action. That was a major attack.
Scaife charging up the inside. Gardner was not going to get in. Let's look at that on race cam. Scaife just grabs another gear. He's right over on the ripple tips. Bang! Gardner's coming around, and Scaife's right into the side of him. Plenty of damage to the front spoiler. Gardner waves at him to say, what the hell's going on? Fiberglass going everywhere. Scaife and Gardner both in the pits. Goodness me.
Well, a very interesting couple of laps. You can see the two cars involved in the altercation. Just a bit of work there.
Shows how serious these guys are playing. Scaife just was on maximum attack mode there. Wasn't going to back off. Went very, very deep under brakes.
Tell you what, that leaves Lowndes, Brock and Bow out in the clear. 5 of the major players in Australian V8 touring car racing have already experienced problems. I'm talking of Johnson, Perkins, Gardner, Scaife and Seaton.
Well, Gardner's got back into the race, so he's coming back out of pit lane. So the order now is Lowndes. He's opened up a 4.7-second gap on Brock, with Bow in third. Russell Ingall now moves up to fourth. Crompton in the second, Coke Commodore in fifth, and Alan Jones in the first of the pack leader Falcons. Strong showing for them in sixth position. So really mixed up. Larry Perkins back into the battle as well after his little crash with Gardner. So Gardner really has been in the wars of Symmons Plains in these opening laps of this first heat. 6 laps down in this 21-lapper.
There's Gardner closing in on Ingall. Alan Jones not too far in arrears. And Alan Jones, Brad, for the first time in 1996 and first time with pack leader racing, he's on the brand new Bridgestones, the brand new batch. They've done a lot of testing at Lakeside since the last round of Bathurst, and it's paying dividends.
Well, tyres are such an important part of these cars, and as you can see, as you said, and he's certainly running a lot better this weekend than he has for a long time. Big ask, new team, trying to make everything work properly and be on the pace. But this weekend he seems to be just a little closer. Oh, Russell Ingall in trouble there.
And Neil Crompton takes advantage, ducks up the inside. Alan Jones tries to go through with the Coke Commodore as well. Just gets his door closed there. So Ingall survives. Jones right behind him now in the pack leader Ford.
Very nice save there by Ingall. Had just had that back wheel locked up coming in, bit of a speedway slide into the corner, and but enough for Crompton to get by and put a few feet in between them.
So he moves up a position. This is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th behind Lowndes, Brock and Bow in 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And look at Jones coming under, Russell Ingall coming under increasing pressure from Jones as they come over the hump back toward turn 1. Jones really pumped up here, trying to knock these pack leader cars into shape. Very competitive environment. And he's looking very quick here as he comes up behind Ingall in the Castrol Commodore.
Larry Perkins part of this equation at the moment. Perkins has just visited the pits, so the number 11 Castrol car is a lap or so down. Jones, a very aggressive driver.
And I guess, Brad, down at this hairpin, because it's so punishing on the brakes, toward the end of these heats when the things are getting a bit tired, we always seem to see these cars bumping into each other under maximum braking.
Well, and the other thing is, of course, it's getting towards the end of the race, but the fuel load's getting a little bit lighter. They might be adjusting the bias on the brakes just to get the car teetering on maximum stopping power. There we've lost, is that Romano?
Yeah, teammate Romano in 201, just getting a little bit out of shape through brambles there, manages to gather it up, get back in the race. So Larry Perkins lapped in amongst this traffic.
Here we see Alan Jones, who's got by Ingall at the back of the straight there, and he's sailing off after Crompton now.
So Jones is on a real charge. He's up to 5th position now.
Crompton has been the winner of this battle. He's got Perkins riding shotgun. Craig Lowndes, car number 15, Mobile HRT.
Well, he's not only the fastest man on the circuit today, he's also just set a new lap record of 54.58. Previously held by John Bell last year at 54.77. So Lowndes, 2/10 under the lap record, absolutely flying. But Brock is coming right back at him. 2.4 seconds the gap now. So it's Brock chasing after Lowndes. We've got Bow in 3rd, Neil Crompton up to 4th, and Alan Jones in the pack leader Racing Falcon in 5th position. Don't go away, there's plenty happening at the Plains.
Karcher, the world's largest manufacturer of high-pressure cleaners, offer more. The widest range of machines, suitable for every cleaning problem. World-leading technology and dependability. Plus, statewide after-sales service by our factory-trained technicians. And all from a company with over 60 years' experience. So, whatever your cleaning needs, call the name you can rely on. The name with experience. Karcher, 60 years strong.
There are lawns, and then there are lawns. Whether it be the backyard or Bellreeve Oval, at Reg McDougall, we have the mower to get the job done. From Husqvarna, we've got ride-ons priced from just $2,990. These Husqvarna push mowers are as cheap as chips. There's brush cutters, line trimmers, this fabulous garden tiller, garden blowers and vacuums. Plus, approved purchasers receive 6 months interest-free terms. Mowing lawns may never be the most enjoyable thing you'll ever do, but at Reg McDougall, we'll make it a lot easier.
8:30 Thursday.
These are for you. They're beautiful. Of course they're beautiful. They're from my father.
A chance to impress.
Should keep a plum office. Better land a plum account.
A chance to start again.
Who the hell let you out?
And a chance to get even.
What if we put him back in red?
But if Amanda knows what's good for her...
Who's that?
My husband.
A chance is something she won't be taking.
Make sure these get to the police.
Thursday nights are veg.
I want you to leave.
Or is it murder? Melrose Place, 8:30 Thursday.
If you're planning a conference or meeting, think about Grindelwald Resort. Superb accommodation and activities. The expertise and facilities to make your conference a winner with everyone at very pleasing rates. Phone Grindelwald Resort, they guarantee it will be a winner.
Who can add more life to your printing with an endless range of colours? Quick Copy Printing, where our reliability is your guarantee.
I was looking for a little bit of adventure, I guess, like what we're doing here today with the rock climbing and abseiling. The Army Reserve gives you a lot of confidence, and it's certainly grown me as a person. I went through a lot of personal growth. It teaches you a lot about how you perform when you get up in front of other people. I probably wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now if I hadn't done some sort of Army Reserve training.
1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Give yourself an edge. The Army Reserve. Call 13 19 02.
Give me one reason to stay here.
Once in a blue moon, a song captures our imagination. This is Tracy Chapman.
Baby, I got your number. Oh, and I know
Her new album is New Beginning.
I've got a red hot.
Featuring the new singles, Smoke and Ashes, and The Smash.
Reason to stay here. Yes, now turn around.
Tracy Chapman, New Beginning. Get it now.
Welcome back to Symmons Plains. Greg Crick and Glenn Seaton round the outside. Seaton must have had an absolute shocker in that opening lap. He was 4th off the grid, and he's coming his way back into the top 10.
Glenn Seaton, an excursion off into the sand on about lap number 2. He has moved up to occupy position number 9 on the track.
So there's Greg Crick, Tasmanian, leading privateer. Boy, this guy has shown a lot of impressive speed.
That he has. At Bathurst, once again, he was awarded the Leading Privateer Award and really gave some of the top running teams, the professional teams, a run for their money. Alcare Air Conditioning is the sponsor.
Ex-Larry Perkins Commodore, upgraded to VR specification this year. It looks fabulous in its Alcare air conditioning colours. And Crick really has proved this year that the gap between the level 2 and the level 1 professional teams is closing all the time. He's currently running in 10th position, just behind Glenn Seaton, who's trying to continue charging through the pack. 11 laps down, this 21-lapper. Peter Brock currently running in 2nd position. Qualified 2nd yesterday. Closed the gap down to Lowndes there, down to about 2.4 seconds, but I believe Lowndes was having a bit of trouble through traffic on that lap. Lowndes has now opened it up to 4.2. So Brock apparently powerless to match the speed of his younger teammate in this opening 12 laps.
Well, Brock's actually the last couple of races has been able to match Craig blow for blow and actually, in fact, get on top of him. But I think this weekend Craig's flexing his muscles a little bit. He's certainly doing the job. He's the only one that's doing 54s consistently, and certainly has the wood over Brock at the moment. Probably not quite so sharp through the traffic, but certainly got the pace.
That begs me to ask the question, team cars, but are they identical cars, Brad?
Well, I think you'll find that Craig's car's got a few more experimental bits on it this week, and I think the engine's probably slightly different, which gives him a bit more grunt.
Third place driver on the track, the defending series champion, John Bowe, the first of the forwards in this heat number 1 of round number 4 in this year's title chase.
It's just amazing, Brad, isn't it, the way the cream continually rises to the surface. These are the guys battling for top 3 or 4 positions in the championship. Lowndes, Brock, Bowe, they're still running at the front of this battle.
Well, that's true. They're all championship contenders, and except for Glenn, who unfortunately had a bit of a misdemeanor earlier on in the race. they're certainly all fighting for the lead of the race. It's just a little bit of a pity that they've strung out to the degree they have at the moment.
Well, we did lose Larry Perkins very early on. Then we lost Scaife and Gardner. Gardner has rejoined, as to as Perkins, but it's really shuffled the pack around a fair bit. But now it's Lowndes still in control. Here's 3:01, and that's Alan Jones in 5th position. So it's Lowndes, Brock, some 4.7 seconds. Then there's Bow, Neil Crompton, Alan Jones. Here he is in 5th position. Jones, the pack leader forward. A few teething problems with the cars in these opening laps, but it's been a very, very difficult season in which to debut a touring car team. Season very, very tight. A lot of races crammed in together. They haven't had a lot of time for development, so they really have been behind the 8 ball, but they're fighting back pretty strongly here at Symmons Plains.
That they are, and yeah, time has been the major problem in the pack leader camp. Alan Jones currently 5th on the racetrack, and Paul Romano, as we saw earlier, experiencing a few problems.
Well, good run here from Neil Crompton. Gardner, we saw in the wars earlier on, but Crompton managing to stay out of that panel punch-up, running in 4th position.
Keeping in mind, he did start from position number 11 on the track. There has been a huge rate of attrition, but also some very smart and quick driving on the part of Neil Crompton, who wasn't all that happy, I must admit, going into the first race today. He's very harsh on himself and wasn't impressed by his performance in qualifying yesterday. This will no doubt leave Neil with a smile on his face.
We're certainly looking for some consistency in the championship, and this may help move him up the ladder. We take race cam with Glenn Seaton for the Ford Credit Falcon, working his way back through the field. He's still in 9th position. He's got Stephen Richards, the next guy ahead of him. Stephen Richards doing a fabulous job running up in 8th position. There's Stephen Richards there, the Valvoline Cummins car. So Seaton really on the attack. He's caught him. Let's see if he can do anything about it as they come through the hairpin. Lap traffic there. Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. This will be an interesting comparison of horsepower in a straight line, I guess, Bradley, because they all say that Larry is one of the most powerful cars in the field, but Seaton's really making big inroads here.
Well, Glenn's never really been known for having more horsepower than anyone else on the circuit, and I think Larry's probably just braking there a little bit early out of courtesy to let Glenn get on with his battle.
So Seaton, Larry very courteous there as Seaton gets his way through. He's got the eyes on Steve Richards, very fast privateer up in front of him.
And just in front of Richards in the Valvoline entry, we've got the 2 Castrol cars of England Longhurst. There you can see Stephen Richards, and right behind us Seaton.
Well, young Steve is in fact the top place privateer now, Andy. He's in front of Crick, so he's in 8th, Crick's in 10th. So Stephen Richards, baptism of fire, first year in 5-litre racing. Gary Rogers Motorsport, they found it pretty tough, but gee, they put in some good performances already. And here's Seaton right up behind him. Couldn't get a bit of paper between the bumper bars of the 2 cars, but Richards got a very good exit out of that corner, giving Seaton a lot of work to do in a straight line if he's going to catch him. Let's see if he has a go under brakes. 7 Sport Race Cam takes you inside with Glenn Seaton. He ducks down the inside, right alongside the Valvoline Commodore, and takes another position back.
Smart racing from both drivers there. Stephen Richards, oh, that's some great advertising for Valvoline and Cummins. We look out the back of the Ford Credit Falcon EF of Glenn Seaton, under brakes into the left-hander.
And Seaton now up to 8th position.
Great exit speed from that corner from Glenn Seaton. The hammer is down as they race up towards the hairpin.
Oh, look at this. Neil Crompton under fire from Alan Jones. You've seen the pack leader Ford closing in slowly. They're side by side as they come through this 240k sweeper. Crompton on the inside, Jones on the outside. Jones probably well positioned for this braking manoeuvre. He's got lap traffic, ducks down the inside of Scotty Taylor, continues his braking move, and up the inside of Crompton. Well, late braking from Alan Jones, but fortunately no body contact that time.
There's more smoke there than an Indian hunting party.
Jones is really on a charge here. That's 4th position now. He's only got Bow, Brock and Lowndes ahead of him. Very competitive, the most competitive run, in fact, from the pack leader racing team this weekend. Ross and Jim Stone working very hard on all development phases of the car, from the Bridgestone tyres to the brakes to engine development. They've been working absolutely flat out in between races to try and make some progress, and it looks like the results may be paying off here.
They had problems earlier in the year, Mark, with brakes, and it got to the point where they weren't sure if they'd even contest the Bathurst round because the place is so scary, and you really need the big anchors there. But really have done a lot of testing and it's come through. One guy who's obviously been doing his homework along with the rest of the mobile HR team is the guy on screen now. He's your current race leader, Craig Lowndes, car number 15.
19 laps down in this 21 lapper. He's opened it up 4.8 seconds, just holding it about 5 seconds between himself and Peter Brock in second position. But another crushing display of speed from Lowndes. Had a terrible run at Bathurst with that collision with Gardner. He got served up pretty badly at the Australian Grand Prix meeting at Albert Park last weekend. But he really has resumed this crushing form that he showed in those opening 2 rounds. Winner at Eastern Creek, the winner at Sandown. He was 9th at Bathurst, 115 points. Currently second in the championship behind John Bowe on 132. So this is exactly the situation Lowndes would have wanted to beef up that point score and maybe grab back the lead of the championship this afternoon.
Lowndes and Brock are circulating around a second faster than their nearest competitors, so it's quite a powerful display by them, and one wonders just who's going to get near them. They're certainly just driving away from John Bowe.
Last lap for Craig Lowndes, 2.41 kilometres to go. Peter Brock in second position. Bowe, gee, some 4.5 seconds behind Brock, so the field has become quite spaced out at the front. Brock currently running in 5th position in the championship with 70 points to Lowndes 115, so he's still in this with a good show. But if Lowndes continues to score big buckets of points, he'll get 20 from this round, this race. And if he keeps scoring points like that, it's going to look pretty menacing for the championship. Under brakes for Coca-Cola Corner for the final time. Clean run, got out the front, won the first corner and just walked away from the pack. Craig Lowndes comes back toward the start-finish line to take victory in Heat 1 of the 96 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, Symmons Plains Raceway. Crushing victory there to the youngster. 21-year-old Lowndes has got his championship right back on track. Brock in second position, and I imagine John Bowe will come home third.
Let's have a look at the Shell race score. Craig Lowndes, winner of heat number 1. Second place was teammate Peter Brock. The first of the Fords in third was John Bowe. Alan Jones, pack leader, racing in 4th. Rounding out your 5, Neil Crompton.
Russell Ingall in 6th. Glenn Seaton came through in the Ford Credit Falcon for 7th. Tony Longhurst in 8th. Stephen Richards, great run down the Valvoline car in 9th. And Greg Crick, the second of the privateers, in the Alcare Commodore.
Some advertisers bring you the movies, but we just bring you the trailers. In fact, we'll bring you any kind of trailer you want. We make box trailers, boat trailers, winch tippers, and many others especially designed to suit your needs. Plus, we feature a complete range of trailer parts and accessories. Trailer World, 86 Sunderland Street, Derwent Park. Phone 723539. When it comes to trailers, we've got all the features.
A new breed of daredevils is about to hit your screen.
No pain, no gain, amigo.
The no-fear generation at its wildest.
Think back on what you love and you'll just be throwing your life away.
Breathtaking rescues. Rugged mountains.
Want to take a real climb?
100% pure adrenaline. Prepare yourself for the most radical adventure series in years.
Last one down buys the tequila.
James Brolin takes you to the edge.
Is it okay, kid?
Extreme, 7:30 Friday.
Who can add more life to your printing with an endless range of colours? Quick Copy Printing, where our reliability is your guarantee.
Oh, she's beautiful. Not him.
At ANZ, we guarantee you'll never have to wait more than 5 minutes for a teller. And if you ever do, we'll credit your account with $5. It's all part of the service.
See you after lunch.
Has anybody ever told you how beautiful you are?
ANZ, better service by all accounts.
I enjoy going to the Army Reserve. I look forward to it, that you're actually doing something that's worthwhile, and I've become a better person. I've realised a lot more about myself. I've learned different things about loading aircraft, dispatching from aircraft. In the Army Reserve, it's made me more disciplined, and I feel discipline is very important as a pilot.
1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Give yourself an edge. The Army Reserve. Call 13 19 02.
Hello, I'm Mick Foster of Foster and Allen. This is my new album, The Accordion World of Mick Foster.
This is a special collection from Mick Foster featuring jigs, hornpipes, polkas, dances and favourite songs. Mick plays your favourite polka. Why don't you sing along with Mick?
This is a selection of all my accordion favourites. Reels, jigs, hornpipes, marches and many more.
The Accordion World of Mick Foster, a very special collection. And Mick sings Paddy McGinty's Go.
Now Patrick McGinty, an Irishman of note, fell in for a fortune and he bought himself a goat.
Here's a selection of Mick's favourite Scottish marches. And there's the popular My Uncle Mike.
This really is one of my favourite albums. I hope you like it.
The Accordion World of Mick Foster, new and only from Startel.
This is Australia. This is Australia.
Check it out.
Yes, welcome back to beautiful Tasmania, and bikes out on the track now at Symmons Plains Raceway for round 2 of the Shell Superbike Series. Let's look at the way they grid up. Peter Goddard, the fast man in the wet yesterday. Dean Thomas alongside him in the mobile Honda. Row 2, Ben Archibald and Sean Giles on the Ducatis. Row 3, Damon Buckmaster in the Shell Suzuki and Martin Craggle on the Team Kawasaki ZXR. Row 4, Troy Bayliss on the second Quacker and David Emerson in the Fiberflash Kawasaki. Row 5, Rip Crocker and Phil Allen.
First time around. Bike
Look at
number
that.
6. Oh.
Right up against the fence, the Kawasaki as a huge pack come flying down toward Brambles Hairpin. Kawasaki on the outside, skipping under brakes as they come into Brambles Hairpin for the first time. Tremendous start from the Superbikes as we welcome Kenny Wooten from Australian Motorcycle News. Ken, that was a frantic start.
Fantastic action. These guys have had very little time in the dry. That's Troy Bayliss on bike 32, the series leader, leading them round the sweeper, 275 kilometres an hour. He's got Ben Archibald on the Ducati. Now Peter Goddard up the inside on the Ansett Suzuki, 3 wide through Coca-Cola corner. This is Superbike action.
Action is a what? Troy Bayliss all in there. Mobile Honda team leaning on each other, elbow to knee, as they come across the hump for the first of 10 laps. Absolutely frantic opening tour from the Superbikes at Symmons Plains this afternoon.
That it was, and Troy Bayliss, a big scare on the opening lap. Let's have a look at the view from Martin Craggle's Kawasaki ZXR.
Listen to how he revs that inline 4. Maximum attack, under brakes down toward the hairpin. They're all over each other.
Not holding back at all as Craggle. A different apex to the 3 riders ahead. Let's see how he fares on the inside now of Goddard, screaming down.
That is just a frightening view, Ken Wood.
These bikes pulling about 14,200 revs. Dean Thomas on bike 23, round the outside of Ben Archibald, and up the inside comes Craggle on bike number 5. What we've got are 4 different brands of bike up in the front 4 or 5 positions. Close racing, Ben Archibald on the Ducati, managing to hold them out and keep Troy Bayliss inside.
Go back to Team Kawasaki ZXR 7 Sport Race Cam, taking you to the right of the heart of this battle. Cranks right over through turn 1 and back toward the back straight once again. Tremendous speed. And it really does send a shiver down your spine. We look how quick these things are through this Armco tunnel down toward Brambles Hairpin. Back through the gears once again. On maximum attack on the outside. Oh, look at the way he slides in there, motocross style. Craggle back, keeps up the attack.
Peter Goddard a bit wide there on the Ansett Suzuki. This is his last race meeting on this bike. Fastest man in the wet, fastest man in the morning warm-up. And he's trying through on the inside here of Dean Thomas on the mobile Honda, unable to do it. Oh, now it's Martin Craggle up the inside under brakes, up close on Ben Archibald's Ducati. This is very close Superbike racing.
It's tremendous stuff, Ken. Troy Bayliss in front. Archibald Thomas, that'll change next time they come across the start-finish line. Look at them cranked over as they come past the pits. 3 laps completed, 7 to go. High-speed action.
It's Bayliss, Archibald, Craggle, Thomas, Goddard, Buckmaster. That is the running order. And Sean Giles back in position number 8 on the track, the defending champion. But Ken still experiencing some back problems.
Yeah, Martin Craggle now up the inside of Archibald. There are a number of riders here with some niggling injuries. Troy Bayliss, who's out in front, big high side in Friday's practice. He's battered and bruised, but doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Sean Giles carrying some back injuries from a horrific accident last year as Dean Thomas comes round the outside of Peter Goddard's Suzuki. Thomas on the mobile Honda. It's only his third outing on a superbike against Peter Goddard, the most experienced rider in the field, 31 years of age, owner and manager and rider of the Ansett Suzuki squad. As we said, his last outing on one of these bikes, desperately trying to close the gap to Ben Archibald, Marty Craggle, and out in front, Troy Bayliss, the current series leader.
Well, Troy Bayliss doing a terrific job, Ken. He's opened up 2.4 seconds that time around on this incredibly competitive field. Here's Archibald and Craggle, the battle for second and third position. See the front screen of the bike shaking around, vibrating. He goes back through the gears, up the inside of Archibald, and he's done it again. A very aggressive run from Craggle. He'll try and use the top-end power of this Kawasaki as he opens it up along the back straight. Bound toward Coca-Cola once again. Tucked down behind the screen. Ducati tries to take advantage. Ducks to the outside. Up the inside this time as they come under brakes.
No lack of speed from any of the Superbike competitors here at Symmons Plains today. Archibald v Craggle. Craggle on the Kawasaki bike number 5. The Gibson Freight Ducati dealer team rider Benny Archibald, relegated now to position number 3 on the circuit, but this one is far from over. Craggle actually building up a nice little gap, and right behind we've got a posse that includes Thomas, Goddard and Buckmaster.
I guess Kenny Whitten, there's our leader, Troy Bayliss. He did an absolute demolition job at Sandown. And after that spin, he's just showing so much courage and guts to get back on there and lead this field.
It's a fantastic effort. He could hardly walk on Saturday. He missed the first qualifying session on Saturday with injuries. Went out in the second session, qualified second row of the grid in very wet conditions. Nobody really expected him to be going for the lead. Craggle and Ben Archibald now out after him. Whether Troy Bayliss will tire towards the end of the race, he can hardly walk. They have to lift him on and off the motorcycle, but doesn't seem to be slowing him down.
They're absolutely crazy. Here's Martin Craggle, and you can see down the back straight just how much top end that Kawasaki's got. I believe in the region of 160 horsepower. Ducati very good on low ground torque out of the corners, but boy, at the top end, that Kawasaki's got some sting.
What's interesting, there's 4 brands of bike all in a row there: Kawasaki, Ducati, Honda and Suzuki. And they've all got different advantages at different parts of the circuit. The man with the big advantage, though, bike 32, Troy Bayliss, 26 years old, from Taree in New South Wales. Perfect score in the opening round at Sandown, 2 race wins and pole position, and he's looking to add another 20 points to his tally here at Symmons this weekend.
Well, he was a replacement for Matt Mladen, who's gone racing superbikes in the US this year, and indeed a fitting replacement, showing all the aggression and speed that Mladen showed in his debut season with Team Kawasaki. As we take race cam with Martin Craggle again, second position, and that's just his teammate Bayliss up there in front of him. He's got Benny Archibald and Ducati V-twin breathing down his neck. Terrific action from the superbike. 6 laps completed. It'll be 7 as they come across the start-finish line this time around. 3 laps to go.
You just get an incredible feel for not only how fast these 2-wheelers are going, but exactly how talented they are, Ken, throwing the bike around as they do. And heading up now towards the hairpin. It's still Bayliss, Craggle, Archibald, Thomas and Goddard. We're riding right now with Marty Craggle.
It is just staggering, Ken. I know you'd put a fair bit of time in on motorcycles yourself. This amount of power going through a contact patch about the size of a matchbox is pretty frightening.
Well, these bikes have got a power-to-weight ratio that makes a touring car look positively anemic, but the difficulty is keeping it on the track. It's a very physical type of motorcycle. They're just based on a road-going bike and trying to get them around the circuit at 270, 280 kilometres an hour, hard into brakes. You can see Troy Bayliss up ahead. If anything, Marty Craggle is hauling him in. The 2 Kawasaki's now split by only 2 seconds. Craggle slowly hauling in his teammate. As we said, Bayliss on bike 32, suffering some pretty bad injuries. Both his wrists strained ligaments. He's got an ankle that's badly bruised, possibly broken. They'll be lifting him off the bike at the end of the race. And bike 5, Marty Craggle, 3rd in last year's series, now hauling him in at quite a rapid rate of knots. You can see under brakes there, the rear of the bike waving around in the breeze. That's as 100% of the braking effort goes onto the front end. He leans off the bike to get it out of the hairpin. Now he's putting something like 160, 165 horsepower through that rear tyre. He'll be hitting speeds of maybe 270, 280 kilometres an hour around that corner. 14,200 revs. Very physical, very demanding.
Well, Martin Craggle now the fastest man on the track too, a 53.92 that time around. He's got the gap down to 1.3 seconds, so he's really closing the gap on Bayliss as they come across to start their final tour of this 2.4 kilometre track.
Ken mentioned Using the front brakes on these superbikes and not always an easy task.
Well, look at that, 1.1 seconds now. Craggle's got it down another couple of tenths. Could Bayliss just be backing off, or he doesn't ride that way, Ken?
Well, he normally doesn't ride that way, but then he normally doesn't carry these sort of injuries. He'll be pacing himself towards the finish, but Symmons plays very hard on the brakes on these bikes. If you go too hard, too early, they can cook the front discs. They've got twin discs on the front end. I would think he's got everything in hand, but one slip up and Marty Craggle will be on him. This is a great result for the Kawasaki's first and second. They've got a brand new bike coming. It'll be here for round 4 of the series as bike 32, Troy Bayliss, peels into the last but 2 corners to go. He's got one more, then he'll straighten up and aim for that finish line. A great effort.
So Troy Bayliss it is, Mr. Aggression and Mr. Speed too. Just slide sideways out of that corner to take the checkered flag. Martin Craggle closing the gap over the last few laps. And Benny Archibald on the V-twin Ducati in 3rd position. Terrific action.
The Shell race score, a clean sweep for Team Kawasaki. Troy Bayliss and Martin Craggle at the pointy end of the field. The Ducati of Ben Archibald, the Suzuki of Peter Goddard, and the mobile Honda of Dean Thomas rounds out your 5.
Karcher, the world's largest manufacturer of high-pressure cleaners, offer more. The widest range of machines, suitable for every cleaning problem. World-leading technology and dependability. Plus, statewide after-sales service by our factory-trained technicians. And all from a company with over 60 years' experience. So, whatever your cleaning needs, call the name you can rely on. The name with experience. Karcher, 60 years strong.
Through the eyes of television, you've seen your country go through some amazing changes. Now comes an Australian celebration. 40 years of television with Gary McDonald and Magda Zabansky.
Television's marvelous.
Rediscover the people and times through the shows and the stars across every network. Moments you'll want to remember, others would rather forget, and some that haven't been seen since the day they went to air. For the biggest night of television in 40 years, Monday, Australia's own.
You've probably never needed a plastic card before. You've always thought that cash was the way to go, because you've always carried your cash around in your pocket. Ever worried about not having enough cash at the supermarket checkout, or running out of cash when the bank's closed, or taking all that cash with you on holiday, or getting caught short because you just didn't realize how much you'd spent, like in a restaurant, and end up having to...
I need a Bassin Equitable Visa card!
You never need to worry when you've got a Bassin Equitable Visa card. Couldn't you do with a Bassin Equitable Visa card?
It's the dance album of the year. 40 mega #1 dance cuts on one hell of a dance album. The Real McCoy, Nicky French, Rednecks, M People, D-Ream, Baby D, Corona, Beverly, Alpha Team, DJ Bobo, Hocus Pocus, Rat Pack, Absolutely Fabulous, Dr. Alban, Cut and Move, Lee Marrow. It's the ultimate one hell of a dance album. Out now from Startel.
Attention, business owners, managers and executives. Here's a once-in-a-lifetime event not to be missed by anyone serious about success in business or your career. Come and join 3 of Australia's most successful business owners for 5 incredible hours, who for the first time ever will reveal 11 of their most powerful and carefully guarded money-making secrets that will transform the way you think about business forever. Book your seats now. Call 1-800-624-915. 1-800-624-915.
From the first steps in footy by a 5-year-old to the form of a champion. It's a long way, but thanks to the TFL Football Development Foundation, it's a path that's clearly marked. There's Auskick for 5 to 6-year-olds and Aussie Footy, where everyone gets a go. Youth football, school carnivals, holiday programs, development squads and national championships. It's a great preparation not just for footy, but for life itself. So let's encourage our kids to go for it.
Obviously, my greatest career moment is winning the World Championship. There's no doubt about that. Probably when you miss a gear change right in front of your pit crew at a race meeting. If you're going to miss gears, it's always better to do around the back. The thing that annoys me most about road drivers is the ones that drive on the right-hand side of the road thinking that that's the fast lane as opposed to the overtaking lane. That really gets up my nose. It'd have to be fairly something interesting because I lose interest in things pretty quick. Smart motorsport is a fabulous way of keeping your interest going. And I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't a racing driver. I admire any sportsman or any sportswoman that has reached the top of their chosen sport, and the ones that have actually started with nothing to get there and have shown a lot of dedication and what have you to reach the top. They're the ones I really admire. I love water sports, anything to do with water, jet skiing or on the boat or whatever. Love getting away and doing that. Well, I think V8 racing now in Australia, unfortunately, there is no man to beat. I think it's men to beat. And unfortunately, there's too many of them. There's probably about 8 or 9 or 10, because we're all lapping within literally tenths of seconds of one another. And I think now to single out any one individual would be pretty brave.
Alan Jones, pack leader racing, car 301. One of the big movers in a quality field here at Symmons Plains. We're watching round number 4. This is race number 2. From the front row, it's Craig Lowndes and Peter Brock. Row number 2, the first of the forwards, John Bowe, Alan Jones. Row number 3, it's Neil Crompton and the Castrol pilot, Russell Ingall. From row 4, let's hope he has better luck this time out for Glenn Seaton and Castrol Falcon driver, Tony Longhurst. Rounding out the 10, a privateer row, Stephen Richards, and the Alcare entry of Greg Crick.
And it's with deep regret that we must report the death of one of Australia's most liked and respected members of the Australian motor industry, Mr. Evan Green. In the early hours of Saturday morning, Evan succumbed to a very long and fearless battle with cancer. To his wife, Yolanta, his children and family, the Seven Network, and I'm sure anyone associated with motoring and motorsport, offer our sincere condolences.
Just about ready for the start of Heat 2. Who will it be, Lowndes or Brock into turn number 1? Green light, and it's the master on the outside. Peter Brock and teammate young gun Craig Lowndes into turn number 1. The kid manages to scrape through. Brock right alongside, and there you see all 19 V8 touring cars contesting this round at Symmons Plains. Larry Perkins, a positive start. The Castrol entry moves up to occupy position 3, but it is Lowndes, winner of heat number 1, your current race leader. Brock, Perkins, Bowe, Gardner, Seaton.
Well, the mobile HRT cars leapt off that grid side by side for a good 50 metres before Lowndes was able to get a little gap on Brock and cover his territory. Alan Jones missing from the grid just in those final minutes of the warm-up lap. He's headed into the pits and apparently out of the race. So a great disappointment for pack leader racing. Jones set to leap from 4th position on the grid. So it's Lowndes, the destroyer from Heat 1, setting off in good form in Heat 2. Brock behind him. The Castrol Commodore. There's Crompton in the Coke car in car 7, and Seaton a much better start in the Ford Credit Falcon. He's up in the top 5 as well.
And the big loser in the pack's really John Bowe, who's been shuffled back a little bit off that start. Ingall seems to have got a great start, just edged out Crompton. But Glenn from the second row has also slipped by John Bowe.
So Crompton all over the back of the Castrol Commodore. Goes a run on the outside, very, very deep under brakes. Ingall's got the line into this corner. He may run Crompton wide onto the Armco. They're side by side as they come out. Seaton takes advantage too. So Ingall loses 2 positions in one manoeuvre. And Seaton now on the charge, tucks up behind the wing of the Coca-Cola Commodore as they head down the back straight once again. Ingall recovers, and you've got Bowe coming up the inside. As we take race cam, Glenn Seaton right up behind Neil Crompton's Commodore as they head through Coca-Cola corner and back toward the pit straight. 1 lap down, this will be 2 down as they come across the line with Craig Lowndes well in control.
Certainly Lowndes and Brock already establishing a handy lead out front. That's the car of Neil Crompton, the Coca-Cola VR Commodore. We're riding with Glenn Seaton. I can tell you, right on the hammer of Seaton. There's the man, defending series champion, John Bowe. As Brad said, he was the big loser from the start. He was to start from position number 3. He's been relegated back to 5th on the circuit.
Up on the back straight once again, Seaton looking serious here. Just as close to Crompton as they come through the sweeper toward Coca-Cola corner. Maximum braking from high speed, 240 kilometres an hour back to this very slow corner and pit straight. Big brake lock up from Crompton there. Seaton gets his wheel up on the curb strip as he tries to look down the inside of the Coca-Cola Commodore. And Bradley looking at the back of that Coke car, it's wobbling around a bit.
Certainly moving around a fair bit. What we need to keep in mind here is a lot of these people haven't had time to set their cars up for the circuit, of course, because the circuit was wet yesterday. But Neil's certainly got his hands full there. I notice it's burning up a tyre under brakes as well, which means that it's not stopping all that well at the end of the straight.
Big attack. Seaton, flames belching from the exhaust as he works back through the 6-speed transmission. Tries to close on Crompton. Crompton gets a good corner exit speed out of Brambles. Seaton goes with him. The Coca-Cola Commodore, well and truly a match in a straight line for the Falcon. We saw last time around a big brake lock up from the Coca-Cola Commodore as we take race cam once again aboard the Ford Credit. Falcon, Crompton moves over to take up his line. There's a brake locking up in front of him too. That's Brock. So maximum pressure here for Neil Crompton. Glenn Seaton filling the mirrors of the Coke Commodore as they come onto pit straight once again. 4 laps completed for our race leader Craig Lowndes. Brock in second. Here's the battle for third and fourth.
Once again we see the tail of the number 7 Coke Commodore out nice and wide. Midway through the corners, Neil Crompton a lot happier with his package than what he was earlier in the day. Glenn Seaton has a peak on the outside, not to be this time around. Will he duck back low? Yes, in fact, he tries that, and that's where he had success earlier in passing Russell Ingall. They once again head down the back straightaway. Time to hit top gear, hit top speed on a very quick and uncompromising Symmons Plains circuit.
Well, he's picked a good car to draft behind Bradley Jones. There's no shortage of grunt from these Rob Benson Chevy V8s and the Coke cars.
No, so there's a little bit more of a brake lock up there. Crompton's using a maximum amount of road there to try and stay in front of Glenn, but there seems to be nothing between them as far as straight line speed is concerned.
So here's the battle for 7th, 8th and 9th. Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Falcon. He's got that very rapid private here. Stephen Richards before. Plenty of smoke coming from the back of the car as he brakes the turn 1. Up under the footbridge down toward Brambles once again.
Perkins, Longhurst, Richards, Gardner. There's Crick, Scaife and Johnson in arrears. So Larry Perkins, after a disappointing heat earlier on in the day.
There's Wayne Gardner ducking down the inside of Stephen Richards. Keeping on the charge, very pumped up. Steve comes back. He's not going to put up with that. So he gets an excellent run out of Brambles. They'll be side by side through the sweeper once again. Steve Richards in the ex-Freddie Gibson Motorsport Commodore. And they're side by side as they head down toward brakes. Gardner's got about a quarter of a car length in front, but Richards has a good line on the inside. Will Gardner try and squeeze them as they come through? Richards still alongside. Even side by side as they come back onto the pit straight once again. It's been going on for a few hundred metres now. But eventually Gardner just enough to sneak through on the inside.
That allowed Mark Scaife right up on the tail of young Stephen Richards. And Richards has got a big job in front of him because right behind Scaife is Dick Johnson.
Well, this is a really tight battle here. Mark Scaife will be all pumped up. That accident with Gardner in the first heat. Furious when he got out of the car, throwing his helmet on the ground. Very, very upset. As you imagine, Gardner probably was too. And nothing fires a racing driver up, Brad, than something like that.
No, bit of swabbing paint. There's nothing worse.
There's Wayne Gardner leading this posse. He is position 9 on the racetrack and no doubt a very tired young man. He only arrived back from Japan on Friday where he was testing the Toyota Supra. Glenn Seaton, race cam. Looking out the front of the car, and there's Crompton. This battle has raged for the last couple of laps, and Neil holding on to a slender advantage.
Actually, I think Neil's doing a very good job here. Glenn was one of the few people that was capable of running in the 54s in the earlier race, as well as Craig Lowndes, and Neil's just holding him up nicely.
And here comes down the inside John Bowe. Dick Johnson, his car 17, tries to get a run up the inside of Stephen Richards' Valvoline Commodore. Gets a little bit left behind as they get the power down out of Brambles. And yes, plenty of speed. The Valvoline Cummins Commodore. This is a great run for the privateer. Currently running in 11th position. And top place privateer. All level 1 teams ahead of him. Dick Johnson, hard at work in Shell 17. We take Dunlop Race Camp. This veteran of touring car racing, hard at work around Symmons Plains Raceway. There's Steve Richards just up ahead of him. Another lock brake. He's been doing that the last few laps, Brad.
Well, the car's an ex-Gibson Motorsport car, and if you set the thing up similar to Scaife makes them so they power down really, really well. But the car seems to be a little unbalanced coming into the braking area, and hence locking a wheel every now and again.
So we've got battles going up and down the field. This one's the corker. It's been going for quite a while. Seaton very quick out of Brambles that time. He's not quite fast enough to get upside Crompton through the sweeper, but he'll have another attack under brakes. Crompton right in the middle of the road, not giving Seaton any options. Seaton up on the ripple strip, very, very close to the back of the Coke Commodore. Terrific battle this for third and fourth position. Crompton hanging on, 55.7.
Good clean racing. There's been a few places where Seaton perhaps could have been excused for diving in a little quick, but he's got a lot of respect for not only his vehicle, but for Neil Crompton's, and it's all clean thus far.
Glenn looks to be carrying a little bit more speed across the corner, but he's not braking any later than Crompton. He's certainly not being able to get on the power or have any more straight line speed, so it'll be very frustrating for Glenn. About now is where he's carrying the more speed. You can see that he's trying to duck to the inside there to get up the inside of Neil, but he just can't do it. So it's pretty frustrating where he is. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully tyre wear will play a big part in this.
This is the battle for third. There is your race leader. The driver's name is Craig Lowndes. He's dominating today here at Symmons Plains. Peter Brock currently runs second. Neil Crompton third. Glenn Seaton fourth. And car number one, John Bow, rounds out your five.
Bridget visits an Indian desert festival, while Ernie hits Queensland's fantastic surf beaches.
Surf's up.
Anne-Marie enjoys Argentina's spectacular ice show, so don't dream it, do it.
In the great outdoors.
Tuesday on Southern Cross.
Sonata really suits you.
So luxurious.
Hyundai's family car.
Power steering.
Airbag. Hyundai's 100,000 kilometre warranty and just $24,990. Drive away.
The taste that's out of the ordinary. Strongbow white and lemon white.
For 3 decades, Neil Diamond has thrilled audiences with his classic songs and brilliant concerts. To celebrate his return to Australia, the ultimate Neil Diamond brings you 30 all-time favourites on a specially priced double CD. Also available, his best-selling concert album, Hot August Night, plus love songs and the definitive collection. Check out the ultimate Neil Diamond and these other classic Diamond albums, out now.
Enjoy the great outdoors with a versatile Connection camper from Canvas Connection. Forget your slide-on, forget your tent. These lightweight aluminium and canvas campers can be set up or pulled down in moments, are weatherproof, comfortable and don't require a campsite. They're ideal for the fisherman, camper or just a weekend away. Inspect now at Canvas Connection Devonport.
If you're planning a conference or a meeting for your group, you should think about Tasmania's premier conference and resort facility. Grindelwald Resort in the beautiful Tamar Valley is the ideal place for you. It's widely recognised as one of Tasmania's best and unique conference centres. Your group has the choice of staying in the superb European-style Grand Chateau Hotel or having their own fully equipped chalets. And at Grindelwald, you can arrange relaxing activities that will please everyone. A beautiful 9-hole golf course, water sports, swimming, tennis, and when there's time, they can just sit back and relax at Grindelwald. There's superb Tasmanian food and wine in the restaurant, peace and tranquility in one of the most beautiful parts of the state, at rates you'll find very pleasing. Grindelwald Resort has the facilities, staff and expertise to make your conference or meeting a real winner. They'll even guarantee it in writing. You and your group will really enjoy your meeting or conference at Grindelwald Resort.
Welcome back to Symmons Plains. Here's this great battle continuing for third and fourth position between Neil Crompton in the Coca-Cola Commodore, car number 7, and car 30, Glenn Seaton, the Ford Credit Falcon. They've been going at it hammer and tongs, lap after lap. Crompton covering his territory very effectively. Seaton not quite enough squirt in a straight line or under brakes to be able to make a move on the Coca-Cola driver. Terrific racing as they start to pick their way through the slower traffic.
And Glenn's got his headlights on to let Neil know. He's had him on for a couple laps now, let Neil know that he's having a go. And I think Neil's fairly aware of that, and he's just turned his on as well. So they're both certainly at it.
And what that'll be the idea as they come up through the slower traffic, it gives the slower guys a chance to pick them up in the rear view.
Basically it is, yeah. And when they first come on, it's, you know, you tend to look in the mirror and it's like a signal that you're holding me up a little bit. But There obviously doesn't seem to be too much between these two. I'm very impressed with Neil's drive here. I think he's doing a great job. He's covering the road nicely, but they're still carrying a lot of speed. Their lap times are very competitive, and they seem to be doing very well.
Well, Lowndes the fastest man so far in this race, a 54.59, which he put in on the third lap. He's fallen back into the 55s with the rest of the crew, but he's still consistently half a second faster than Brock, with this battle a little bit further behind. So Lowndes absolutely streeting the field as he did in Heat 1. He's got the same sort of clean up in Heat 2. Under brakes for Coca-Cola corner. Crompton covers his territory right up the middle of the road. As we take race cam again, you're riding with Glenn Seaton in the heat of this action. Back toward pit straight once again. 12 laps completed for our race leader in this 21 lapper.
Glenn Seaton a little disappointed with his qualifying performance. Just said in the rain he simply couldn't get a free run.
Well, we've got one battle on the field. They're all the way up and through the field. This is a bit further back. Scaife up behind Tony Longhurst. This is the battle for 9th and 10th position. Scaife copying that damage in that first heat as he had to withdraw from the race. There's a huge cloud of smoke there. I think one's gone up the escape road. You could just say, I think it's one of the Castrol Commodores. So maximum braking coming down to Brambles Hairpin. Someone's paid the price there. Here's the battle. Scaife trying to climb his way a bit further into the top 10. Longhurst in 9th, Scaife in 10th. It's Russell Ingall who's gone up the escape road. He hasn't quite made it to the sand bunker, so he's pulled it up just in time, but there was an enormous cloud of smoke there. And Scaife down the inside, just as we cut away to Russell Ingall's dilemma. Scaife, a very tidy move up the inside of Longhurst. And by the look of those times, Bradley, I think Tony may be fading a little bit.
Well, it's a pretty tough act. I mean, Tony's had 1 year, and you know, when you're running a car and trying to get all the things going, it's just not easy. And unfortunately today he's not quite on the pace. But here's Scaife. As you can see, it's a very close position to the wheel where he sits, and a lot of his arm work is done on the lower part of the wheel. You watch, he comes in the corner, his arm will just go over the top. You would want much more lock than that.
It's fantastic to watch it work. He's really active in the car. Bang, up to 4th. Building up toward 225, 240k, up to 5th. You think he just grabs 6th just as he comes up through the rise.
You notice that his left leg's working on the clutch, but his right foot isn't. He just keeps it flat, gives that clutch a dab as he goes up through the gears, and away he goes. The other thing you might have noticed there was he gives a brake a tad of a touch just before he brakes.
Well, there's our race leader, Lowndes, just disappearing out of shot. 4.8 seconds, the gap. That's been maintained for a number of laps ahead of teammate Peter Brock. Here come the Light Brigade. Crompton under attack from Seaton. That hasn't relented at all. Then we've got John Bowe, Larry Perkins. His teammate Ingall just disappeared up the escape road. Gardner coming back in 7th position. Here's 8th, Scaife. 9th is Longhurst. And 10th, Dick Johnson. And this is great battle amongst the privateers. Steve Richards, Greg Crick, and I think it's Stephen Ellery in the Chelgrave Ford. So battles raging right up and down through the field.
Some of the privateers have put in some outstanding showing so far in the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, and Symmons Plains is to be no different. Stephen Richards in the Valvoline Rogers racing entry. Gregory Crick, a local. Stephen Ellery, the number 52 car, trailing these two top privateers. And really, Brad, there hasn't been a lot in the privateer category all year.
Well, it's just like the factory cars at the front of the field. There's nothing between them, and Stephen's doing a great job in that car. It's the ex-Longhurst car, and if you look at the difference between Longhurst and where he is in the race, there's probably only 4 or 5 grid positions and not that much actual time in lap time. So he's coming to grips with the Falcon and doing a very, very good job.
Well, this man just ahead of him, Greg Crick in the Alcare Commodore. These two, Crick and Ellery, are battling for the honours in the Auto Action Privateers Cup this year. They're locked together very close on points. This is only round 4 of the championship, a long way to go. So it really is a battle between Ford and Holden for the privateer teams as well. They do it on a shoestring budget, but the cars are always beautifully presented. And we said earlier today, closing the gap to the level 1 teams all the time. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 3rd and 4th, still raging. And I'm quite surprised Seaton hasn't been able to make a passing move on Crompton yet. It really does say something for Crompton's tyre choice and the conservative way he's driving the car.
Well, as I said to you before, if we watch them come down here, they're on the brakes now, they'll turn in. You'll see Glenn will make up a bit of time in the middle of the corner. He closes on Crompton now. Look at him there, catching him up quite easily, but they get to the point where they put the power down and there's really nothing between them. And that's the whole problem. Glenn not only needs to be able to carry more speed across the corner, but he needs to be able to either outbrake Neil coming into the corner or get on the throttle a touch earlier coming out. As it is, there's nothing between them in a straight line, and Glenn's just in a no-win situation at this time.
Time's very consistent. Lowndes last lap across a 55.65, and these guys running in the 56-second bracket. So Lowndes in a class of his own, it seems, at the front of the field. This tremendous battle, Ford and Holden. Couldn't get two more evenly matched cars. Oh.
Well, I'd say at this point in time, Glenn's getting a little bit frustrated about the fact he can't get by Neil, but as you said, it's Ford, Holden, Dunlop, Bridgestone, and the Dunlops obviously are working quite well here. He's certainly, you know, got the thing covered, and it's not sliding around too much, putting the power down nicely.
Well, Cropton will be pleased with this performance. He's had a pretty frustrating season so far. 5th at Eastern Creek, only 11th at Sandown. Another 5th position at Bathurst, 49 points coming into this championship, only 10th on the scale. So if he can get a little bit of a points haul here, it might move him right up the championship battle. Look how close Seaton gets there, but still nothing he can do about it.
It really doesn't get any better than this. V8 touring car action, Aussie style. Once again, this is the battle for 3rd place. You're watching Neil Crompton. There is the number 1 car, Shell FAI Falcon of John Bowe. He is currently positioned 5 on the track and about 3 seconds behind Glenn Seaton and Neil Crompton.
Should be throwing that around a bit, Brad.
He certainly is, and he's actually catching the other two a little bit because they're starting to drive just Neil is starting to drive just a touch defensively, and so that's allowed Bowe to slowly close that gap up.
Well, it was a bit of a lottery for tyres. Remember that torrential rain during qualifying. It was all done on wet weather tyres. They had to pick their 2 dry weather sets, make a calculated guess on what would be right for the conditions. So it really may turn the championship a little upside down. Bowe came into this championship as the leader on points, currently running in 5th position with his closest man in points in second. Lowndes leading the race very comfortably ahead of Peter Brock. We'll take race cam. This battle has been going all race long. 19 laps completed for our race leader. So 2 left.
And it's down to the business end. How long will Glenn Seaton wait? How desperate will Glenn Seaton get? He is right on the hammer of Neil Crompton and has been, I guess, for the past 10 or so laps. And maybe his polite driving style is going to be thrown out the window over the next 3 or 4 kilometres as we near the end of heat number 2 here at Symmons Plains. This is where Brad has hinted that these Rob Benson engines that power the Coca-Cola Commodores really come into a class of their own.
Glenn Seaton just thinking ahead.
I don't think there's any doubting that the strongest cars in a straight line are probably the Brock cars. I mean, the Mobil cars are very strong. The whisper in the pits is that with Craig's car, they've got a different manifold on it this weekend, and it's also different to the one they're running on the Brock car, but I'm not sure that that's a difference. Craig's obviously driving the car very well, and he's certainly got everyone else in the field covered quite well at the moment. He's got a very comfortable gap, and he's just basically cruising around waiting for the end of the race.
He's making this look very, very easy. It's destroyed the first heat. Now he's 7.6 seconds up on Brock in the second. So they can see there's just daylight between him and his teammate. Just a stroll on a Sunday afternoon.
Craig Lowndes has been averaging about half a second a lap faster than his nearest rival. And Lowndes now has only 2 corners to negotiate before the black and white falls, and his 100% record remains here at Symmons Plains. Final corner, checkered flag time, and Craig Lowndes is your winner. Car number 15. His teammate, the veteran in the very familiar 05 car, Peter Brock, takes out second, and the battle for 3rd continues. It's Crompton from Seaton.
Ah, yes, he's doing it easy. Craig Lowndes, 2 from 2 at Symmons today. Peter Brock in 2nd position. Neil Crompton, great drive that, under a lot of pressure, in 3rd for Coca-Cola Racing. Glenn Seaton, Ford Credit Racing in 4th, and Johnny Bowe in 5th position. 6th with Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. Mark Scaife in 7th. Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Ford in 8th. In 9th, Wayne Gardner fighting his way back through the field. And rounding out the 10, Dick Johnson in the 2nd Shell FAI Falcon. Don't go away. We'll be back with more from Symmons Plains in just a moment.
There are lawns, and then there are lawns. Whether it be the backyard or Bellreeve Oval, at Reg McDougall, we have the mower to get the job done. We've got mowers from Victor, Rover, Flymo, Massport and Husqvarna. It would have to be just about Hobart's biggest range of lawnmowers under the one roof. Plus, approved purchasers get 6 months interest-free terms. Mowing lawns may never be the most enjoyable thing you'll ever do, but at Reg McDougall, we'll make it a lot easier.
In a remote corner of Texas, on an abandoned military base, 2 Navy investigators are about to witness something no one was meant to see.
Who knows who else might be out there?
An all-new Jag, Monday.
Don't miss the Estia Greek Street Festival in Federal Street on Sunday the 24th of March from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The festival will create the atmosphere of a traditional Greek village with authentic national Greek costumes, live music from Greek dance band Short Black, the popular duo Rob Bester and Anne Hillard, plus George Kaplanaris and the cast of A Wog and His Mates and the Greek dance troupe of Hobart. Not to mention delicious Greek food and a live radio broadcast. So come along to Federal Street on the 24th of March and join in the fun at the Estia Greek Festival.
Specials this week from the Animal Tucker Box include Whiskas 400-gram cat food cans, only 90 cents. Supercoat Select, 10 kilos, $15.50. Lean Pets Meat, beef or roux, $2.20 a kilo. And Heavy Ply dog kennels from $70. The Animal Tucker Box, Mornington, and now at Derwent Park.
Over the years, Chicago recorded a classic collection of albums with songs that moved you and songs to love. Now, for the first time, 18 of their greatest hits have been reignited on one outstanding album, 25 Years of Gold. Indulge in the memories and timeless songs of Chicago's 25 Years of Gold. In store now.
The Mazda 121's, the all-ladies race, up next on 7 Sport. And this is what happened last round. Last time out on Sandown, Tanya Golson, a ride on the wild side. Let's have a look at the way they will line up. Kylie Walden and Carolyn Peterson share row 1. Paula Elstrick and Sue Hughes from row 2.
Row 3 is Karen Brewer and the Shell Mazda, Melinda Price alongside her. Row 4, Joe Cadman and Tanya Golson.
Rounding out the top 10, it's Wendy Gibbs and Carolyn Jackson.
Kylie Walden and Carolyn Peterson, it is on the front row of the grid. Away they go in the Mazda 121 Challenge. And Walden got a terrific start of pole position. Fastest lady in qualifying. All-girl race this. So she leads them down to turn 1. Nice clean start. It's Peterson alongside her. 13 cars in all. Mazda 121 Challenge. And Symmons playing this here. They come down the back straight. Close competitive racing. Saw in that opener the frightening accident for Tanya Golson. Certainly hasn't taken the wind out of her sails, running in 3rd position in the championship and back for more in Tasmania today. But a great start from Walden into Brambles Hairpin the first time round. Daughter, of course, of Gary Walden, the production car racer, Bathurst 12-hour winner. So he's certainly been giving her a few tips on driving quickly, and that's paying off here. She leads them down the back straight for the first time in this 10-lapper.
They've produced some outstanding moments and very close racing over the first 2 rounds of their series so far at Eastern Creek and Sandown. 8 rounds in total, and they will finish along with the touring cars later in the year, June 16 in fact, at Oran Park. Not much separates the top 6 or 7 at the moment.
Well, it's a great concept, this. Identical Mazda 121s. Provided to ladies, you can either pay a $32,000 fee and turn up and drive the car. You can lease it on a race-by-race arrangement. Absolutely identical. Showroom standard Mazdas with just the rudimentary safety equipment required. And I believe after that tumble for Tanya Golson Sandown, Brad, they put a full roll cage in the car.
And this is one of the closest races they've had. They got a little bit strung out at Sandown, and but they've all obviously done a little bit of testing and all quite comfortable. And and led along by Newcastle's fastest florist.
Kylie Walden made her debut at Eastern Creek. No previous motorsport experience before that outing. It all came to her in a rush. She's really adapted to it very well. Come up the back straight once again. Only about 62 kilowatts or 80 horsepower on the old scale to play with. Not a lot of power, but really putting an emphasis on driver skill and positioning your car in the right place. The girls are learning that very quickly this year. Oh, look at this.
The art of drafting.
Yep, one up the inside. Car 1, Karen Brewer, coming under attack as they head down to Coca-Cola corner once again. Melinda Price in car 5, a nice tidy move that. Melinda unfortunately was caught up in that accident at Sandown, fighting her way back through the field at the moment. Come across the start-finish line to complete 2 laps of 8.
There's the top half dozen.
Oh, look at this, another
towards the camera.
Good
Cars
run here.
12 and car 20 on the inside. Elstrick.
Paula Elstrick, our championship leader, very aggressive young lady, and she shows that aggression there. 5 comes through as well. Melinda Price.
Able to capitalise there with Peterson out a little wide on the racetrack.
Now they're 4 packs of 2. Blue flag out. Warn the girls that there's lots of cars overtaken. I don't think they need the blue flag. The mirrors will be full of them. Under brakes for Brambles once again. Melinda Price, you can see the car really stands on its nose. The girl's giving it everything. But Elstrick is on a real charge in car 1. Taking position away that time, up behind the bumper of Melinda Price along the back straight this time around. Now, this isn't over by a long shot as far as she's concerned. Paula Elstrick, our championship leader. Melinda Price 2nd. Tanya Golson 3rd. Karen Brewer 4th. And Kylie Walden, our race leader, 5th in points at the moment. She'll be looking for a big haul here. 20.
He goes
up the
Elstrick.
outside.
Looking for some racing room. The outside becomes the inside now as they approach the left-hander.
Side by side, she goes a little bit deeper under brakes. Be interesting how they come through here. And Kylie backs off a little bit. And Melinda up behind her too. Paula Elstrick, she comes back on the inside, puts a wheel up on the curb. She wasn't going to be outdone under brakes that time. Elstrick coming back on the outside. They're side by side, a huge pack of 1-2-1s across the start-finish line to complete 3 laps. And it's not over yet by a long shot down to turn 1. And it's Elstrick in car 20, a little lock brake, but takes the lead from Walden in a move that must have taken about a kilometre to complete.
Oh, here we've got a bit of a dice for 3rd place, I believe.
Side by side, and just moves across to take up her territory. So 2, Tanya Golson.
Moves past Karen Brewer.
Very aggressive run from Tanya. She's had a little bit of experience in motorsport too. Works as a car salesperson down in Canberra with her dad. Former winner of the Eastern Creek 6-hour Enduro in a production car. She also ran in the Targa Tasmania down here a while ago too. She's a little bit of wheel time, and she's thoroughly enjoying her experience out here. 8 laps completed, 2 to go. And it's just been cut and thrust from the moment that green light came on. And it's not over yet by a long shot. Carolyn Peterson. There's Walden slipping her way back through the pack. I guess when you're racing against girls who've got a little bit more experience than you, Brad, it's a pretty big ask when you're racing in a category this competitive to try and stay at the front of that pack.
Oh, it's true. I mean, you look at the grid, it was wet yesterday, and it's obviously shaken it up a lot. And you look at Kylie, for example, who's a P-plater, and she obviously can put together a quick lap because she's been up the front at every race meeting, but the trick is to be able to do it race long, and all that is time and experience.
Well, you can see, Brad mentioned P-plates. There's P-plates all the way down through this field. It means the same on a road as it does on a racetrack. It's a provisional licence. The drivers have to complete a number of races before they get their full competition licence and behave themselves, I guess you could say.
There's no L-platers out there, but I can tell you if there was, it'd be an interesting ride as the instructor in the passenger seat.
Look at Walden. Oh, Walden went in really hot under brakes. You saw a little puff of smoke from the back tyres. She was coming into that corner very, very quickly. Gets it back onto the island near the pit entry road.
She didn't get off the gas one bit.
Bit of rallycross training there too. Where she wants to take a spin in the dirt. 9 laps completed, so this is the last lap for our race leader, Paula Elstrick. And she really has done a great job. She pushed her way to the front, didn't qualify on the front row, but managed to force her way through. And she's just had a nice, clean, tidy run out front in integrated sports marketing. Mazda 121. Melinda Price in 2nd position in that 2nd Mazda. Tanya Golson in 3rd, and there may be a challenge on here for 2nd position. Elstrick looks fairly safe, but I don't think 2nd is quite so secure.
Well, it's tightened up a bit, and there's not much time left to make a move. It needs to be a nice smooth run onto the back straight there, and then Golson will have a go at her under brakes at the end of the straight.
Linda Price, a 25-year-old Master of Science student. She's had a fair bit of experience in kart racing and production racing too. And she's coming under fire here. She's going to need all that experience as they come down under brakes. Very quick run up the inside from Tanya Golson. Terrific run out of Brambles Hairpin, but she's coming back under brakes. See if she can do anything about it. Oh, there's a fair gap between them there. So she may have to settle for third position unless Tanya makes a mistake in this final corner. They closed up a little bit on our race leader, Paula Elstrick. She's done a terrific job, and she will probably win the Mazda 121 Challenge. We're closing Tanya Golson and Melinda Price.
Let's have a look at the Shell race score. A thriller on the plains. The honours go to Paula Elstrick. Second was Tanya Golson. Wins Australia Melinda Price was third. Kieran Brewer fourth. And rounding out your five was Carolyn Peterson.
Hi, I'm Larry Perkins. I'll see you again for more action after this short break.
Sunderland Street Auto Wreckers, and they won't be beaten on price. A huge range of selected new parts for Holden, Ford, Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi, Suzuki and Toyota, and all at discount prices. New headlights, taillights, grills, panels, mirrors, bumper bars, blinkers and door handles. Now's the time to buy, and Sunderland Street Auto Wreckers won't be beaten on price. They try harder. Discount prices on new parts, and the range is enormous. See them, Sunderland Street Auto Wreckers, 86 Sunderland Street, Derwent Park.
Karcher, the world's largest manufacturer of high-pressure cleaners, offer more. The widest range of machines, suitable for every cleaning problem. World-leading technology and dependability. Plus, statewide after-sales service by our factory-trained technicians. And all from a company with over 60 years' experience. So, whatever your cleaning needs, call the name you can rely on. The name with experience. Karcher, 60 years strong.
You all right? Tuesday. You young idiot! He's lost his family and now his job. Trouble is, he has nothing left to lose. And has Wayne found his match?
You put my son in danger.
Blue Healers, 8:30 Tuesday.
If you're planning a conference or meeting, think about Grindelwald Resort. Superb accommodation and activities. The expertise and facilities to make your conference a winner with everyone at very pleasing rates. For Grindelwald Resort, they guarantee it will be a winner.
Björk, her extraordinary album Post, featuring It's Oh So Quiet, plus her stunning new single, Hyper Ballad. Post, now available as an Australian tour edition with a bonus 4-track CD. Look out for the bonus CD edition of Post, in store now.
Attention, business owners, managers and executives. Here's a once-in-a-lifetime event not to be missed by anyone serious about success in business or your career. Come and join 3 of Australia's most successful business owners for 5 incredible hours, who for the first time ever will reveal 11 of their most powerful and carefully guarded money-making secrets that will transform the way you think about business forever. Book your seats now. Call 1-800-624-915. 1-800-624-915.
Welcome back to Symmons Plains Raceway in Tasmania for round 4, Heat 3 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship this afternoon. There's the main protagonist, the men that have been doing all the damage today to HRT Commodores. Points very close now. Lowndes only 1 point behind John Bowe. 156 versus 155. Seaton now moves up to third with 110. Brock now up to 102. And Crompton, after that great run, 73 points, getting tight at the top. Let's look at how they start. For race 3, it's of course Craig Lowndes, our pole man. Perfect run so far with Peter Brock alongside him. Neil Crompton starts out of row 2 with Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Ford.
Row number 3, the defending champion John Bowe. Alongside him, car 11, Castrol's Larry Perkins. From row 4, it's Mr. Seeger, Mark Scaife, with Tony Longhurst in car 25.
And row 5, Wayne Gardner in the second Coke Commodore and Dick Johnson in the Shell FAI Ford.
Only moments to the start. It's a Holden sprint for the first corner. Once again, it's the master and the apprentice. Who will it be this time around? The kid on the inside is off like a bullet out of a gun, and he'll lead the posse for the third time into turn number 1. Crompton on the inside of Seaton. John Bow looking for some racing room.
Well, it just shows how critical it is to get off that line quickly. Crompton got very aggressive there. He knew it was important to grab that position when he could. Rode down the ripple strips and found his way back into third position, where he finished the second heat. So it's Lowndes trouncing Brock off the line for the third time in a row. First up the back straight, Brock in second, Crompton in third. There's a bit of broken glass and a bit of smashed fiberglass there as the pack shuffles their way through Brambles hairpin the first time around.
Look at that gap already. Brock and Lowndes, really the main beneficiaries from that little skirmish in turn number 1.
Well, they really have been showing some tremendous speed here, Bradley Jones. Craig Lowndes, half a second faster than Brock every lap in that opening heat. He's really got some speed out of that car.
Certainly has. The two cars are in a league of their own at the moment, and fantastic start. He really got it all together. Light went green. Brock looked to get a bit too much wheel spin, away they went, but here's Crompton holding up John Bow here, and holding up in front of John Bow. And looks like where the dice is going to be.
Big attack from John Bow down the outside as they head toward Brambles hairpin. 220 kilometres an hour. Who's going to be bravest under brakes? Bow goes a little bit deeper. Covers him completely as they go into Brambles hairpin. Crompton looks down the inside, but Bow's got him well and truly covered as they open him up along the back straight once again, building up to 240, 250k. Seaton now in behind Crompton's Co-Commodore. We saw them battling this way in that second heat as we take Racecam with the Ford Credit Falcon. Let's see if Seaton can make a move on Crompton. This time around, he goes really deep under brakes, easily up the inside of Crompton. That's two cars through. Oh, yes, he had a problem. Holds up the white flag, heads for the pits. So a great disappointment for Crompton. He was really pumped about this third heat after doing so well in the second. He's going down pit lane, and that's his chances. Great shame. So it's Lowndes, Brock, Bow, Seaton, Perkins. Actually, Crompton has come in for a stop-go penalty. So he would have been black flagged in on that lap. He may have jumped the start. I don't know what they penalised him for, but here he comes back onto the track. So a great disappointment for the Coke team.
Certainly is. Neil Crompton, as you said, very happy after a third placing in heat number 2. Looking through the field, John Bow, Glenn Seaton. That is third and fourth on the track already. A handy buffer the race leaders have, and it's Team HRT, mobile powered to Dave, and they are dominating the V8 action here at Symmons Plains. John Bow, Glenn Seaton. The next driver through is Larry Perkins, Mark Scaife and Dick Johnson. A great battle a little further back in the pack. This is for 5th and 6th on the circuit. Mark Scaife with Seeger on the side of the car. Great to have them involved, a new company involved in V8 touring car action in 1996. We look out of the Dunlop Racecam in Dick Johnson's Shell FAI Ford Falcon. Mark Scaife on the horizon, content to follow him round this time. And it hasn't been an entirely happy week for Dick Johnson.
Yeah, the man up ahead of him, Mark Scaife, Seeger Holden Racecam. Shot from the passenger floor of the Freddie Gibson-built Commodore. Scaife hard at work. Just has a glance in his mirror every now and again. He knows he's got Johnson right up behind him. There's the view from Johnson's car. So very competitive opening. 3 or 4 laps. 4 laps completed as they come across the line this time around. Lowndes, Brock, Bow, Seaton, Perkins. This is the battle for 6th and 7th position. And Dick's got Longhurst, Alan Jones on a charge from the back of the grid, and Stephen Ellery, the first of the privateers in the Chelgrave Falcon, in 10th position. Under the footbridge.
Alan Jones in the pack leader Falcon started the day well. Had problems a little earlier, and he moves through on the inside of Tony Longhurst. He now occupies 8th on the racetrack.
Jonesy was pretty disappointed. He did not start. Was going to start from 4th position on the grid for the second heat, but pulled off on the warm-up lap. Apparently he threw a power steering belt, which also drove the water pump, and if he would have kept going much further, he would have cooked the engine, so he was out of the action before it even started. But Jonesy's so pumped up to get a result for this new pack leader racing team. Was really on a charge, and he's doing it again here.
And his tyres, Mark, are certainly going to really shine in this one after not competing in heat number 2's very strict tyre regulations. You're only allowed 2 complete sets, and all the other guys out there on the racetrack at the moment really starting to struggle on this very difficult track.
If you watch Dick Johnson's car here, he's actually, you listen to it now, it's almost dropping off the power band as he's coming out of the corner, and then you hear it and it cracks open and starts to go now. He actually catches Scape up down the straight a certain degree, but it's just like on the slow corners, maybe the car is just dropping off the power band.
Plenty of top-end speed, just closes the gap a little bit to the back of Scape's car, but not a lot in it. Scape plenty of squirt in a straight line as they come through Coca-Cola corner and back toward the pitch straight. Once again, 6 laps completed as Craig Lowndes crosses the start-finish line. Brock behind him, Bow up there too, Seaton, Perkins, and here's John Bow, currently running in 3rd position with Seaton breathing down his neck. John Bow has been struggling with both brake and clutch trouble in the opening 2 heats, but he's managing to struggle on, go with enormous experience and skill at bringing a car home and being able to battle and make the car as wide as possible at the same time, Brad.
John's gone for M3, or M1, sorry, which is a new Japanese tyre, the same tyre used at Bathurst, and he was saying earlier that he thought he's probably gone the wrong way. He might have been better to go for the 936 Dunlops. The tyres are moving around a little bit in time, but it looks like the car's going quite well now. He certainly has Glenn's measure, and a bit of dirt up there on the inside.
He's using a lot of the road there. Larry Perkins, car 11, he's got Mark Scafe breathing down his neck, so it's Lowndes, Brock, Bow, Seaton, Perkins, Scafe. 7 laps completed of 21. Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore, position 5, Scafe. Here's Johnson now, with Alan Jones coming right up behind the wing of the Shell 17 Falcon. And Jones probably going to have a big go coming into Bramble's hairpin this time around. 220 kilometres an hour, looks to the outside, goes deeper and deeper and deeper, but Dick's got him well and truly covered. Jones tries to cut through for the tight run on the exit. Dick was there too. So it's another drag race. Interesting to watch here. The pack leader Falcons have been struggling for a bit of straight line speed in these opening rounds of the championship. But it looks like they're making a bit of headway here. Jones hanging onto the back of Johnson's car reasonably effectively. A few car lengths in it, but he goes right up under brakes. Look how close he is to Johnson coming back onto pit straight this time around.
This is the battle between 7th and 8th, Dick Johnson and Alan Jones. The top 2 Queenslanders in the Touring Car Championship going at it, hammer and tong. And as Mark pointed out earlier, Alan Jones desperate to show his sponsor Pack Leader Racing. They really are up there with the leaders of the pack. He moves to the outside of Johnson. They head up towards Bramble. No place for the faint-hearted. Johnson perhaps looks to have a little more horsepower, and Jones unable to capitalise.
Not only that, but he's looking pretty strong under brakes. He got a little bit sideways trying to get the power down there. Jones was able to make up a couple of car legs, so he's nicely positioned behind the Shell Falcon. As Dunlop race cam shows you, looking back at the pack leader Ford, Jones has certainly got the eyes on. Has a run down the inside. He's nice and close, but not close enough to make a challenge under brakes this time around. So Dick, in terms of straight line speed and braking, every bit the pack leader cars measure as they come back onto pit straight once again. 9 laps down for Craig Lowndes, our race leader, approaching half distance in this final 21 lapper. The smoke belching from the exhaust of the Shell Falcon. But there's the man. Talk about smoke. It's the guy who's smoking the lot of them. Craig Lowndes, he's made it look so easy. 54.77. He's undercut the lap record earlier on in the day. His dominance has just been unbelievable. Craig Lowndes in control for Peter Brock. John Bow, championship leader by 1 point in 3rd. Glenn Seaton, the Ford Credit Racing Falcon in 4th. And Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. Don't go away. There's more to come in just a moment.
G'day. Hey, get down to Bow Repairs for Beau's birthday and you'll be able to pick up a fantastic bargain on tyres. Like these Australian-made steel radials. They're being reduced to just $49. And how about Olympic sprinters? They're down to $105. And all our performance tyres are much cheaper than a night at the Warsaw Ballet.
That's a very poor choice of words, Dave.
Beau's big birthday sale. Tyres at unbeatable prices. Call 132381 for your nearest Bow Repair store.
Wednesday, be prepared for the rescue.
Well,
I'm not touching him.
To end all rescues. And a fireman stands accused. On the Maxi Series Fire, 9:30 Wednesday.
This is CLR Clear, an amazing product that instantly dissolves calcium and lime stains that you can't scrub away. If your shower head is shooting everywhere but down, dip it in CLR and look at the difference. No amount of scrubbing was able to remove the stains from this coffee decanter, but a little CLR and water gets it crystal clean instantly. Watch how Clear wipes away hard water film from tile. Make shower doors shine crystal clear. CLR instantly removes unsightly rust stains from your bathtub, sink and toilet bowl. And nothing cleans your coffee maker, tea kettle or pots and pans faster or better. Get CLR. It will work for you or your money back. CLR Clear. Available from these leading outlets.
Being in the Army Reserve I've learned the value of teamwork. Definitely made me more confident. I've learned to manage people. I'm able to communicate a lot better. The training was very interesting. It's brought out a lot of character traits that I never thought I had within me. It gives me an edge over competitors.
1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Give yourself an edge. The Army Reserve. Call 13 19 02.
Like all those children, James enjoys music too. James has Down syndrome, but he still loves playing cricket and football and joining in all sorts of games, just like that. There are lots of children and adults in our community with Down syndrome, and they really like to be included in normal, everyday activities. So, next time you meet someone with Down syndrome, ask them to join in your games. They'd love it.
A chance to start a game.
Who the hell let you out?
And a chance for these two to get even. But if Amanda knows what's good for her...
Who's that? My husband.
A chance is something she won't be taking.
I'll make sure these get to the police.
Melrose Place, 8:30 Thursday.
Alan Jones, the pack leader car. An excursion on the wild side. Car 301 battling with Dick Johnson for the last couple of laps. Overcooked it. Going into the left-hander. Jones losing 5 or 6 places. He is now back to 13th on the track. 1 place behind Wayne Gardner.
Wayne Gardner currently in 12th, trying to fight his way back through the field. Disastrous start to the day. Alan Jones, boy, he's puffed up. Hasn't lost any of that momentum. He's got back on the track and he's making another big charge. Down the outside of Wayne Gardner's Coca-Cola Commodore. Strong, controlled overtaking manoeuvre on the outside. Pushes through on Bramble's hairpin. This is another battle. This is the battle for 3rd and 4th position and a critical one in the championship. Bow currently holding a 1-point lead over Lowndes, but Seaton now 110 points. Just 46 behind Bow, and if he can beat him here, it's really going to close up the championship at the top end.
By the time
even more of a show.
By the time Glenn Seaton makes the trip back to Melbourne, he'll be sick and tired of looking at the rear bumpers of other cars. He was on the tail of Neil Crompton basically for the entire race in heat number 2, and now it's John Bow.
This will really test Bow's resolve. He has shown himself a master of defensive driving, putting his car on the track where someone behind needs to be. Here's another great battle. Seager Holden Racecam takes us in this battle with Scaife and Perkins. Battle for 5th and 6th. Escape hard at work. This is the vibration through our race cam there. The engine revving hard, back through the gears. Muscling that wheel, then pointing toward the apex, gets a little bit closer to Perkins, pulls another gear, and there's another move, and Seaton's got Bow. He's been on the charge, but didn't take long. And Seaton really is carrying a lot of race speed, Brad.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. He went past JB so quickly, it's almost as if he missed a gear or something happened coming out of the corner that we missed, but he certainly, that was a clear, hard passing move, and he's in front now. It'll be interesting to see if he can get away.
Our statistician Joel Grady told us just before the race that John Bow was experiencing problems with his brakes and a few clutch problems, so maybe it's a reoccurrence of that.
Possibly, but on the up change, it shouldn't make any difference. And here we have another change of position where Scaife's just got by LP.
Lowndes and Brock are dictating the pace here, but there is plenty happening in the pack.
Well, LP's not letting him go. Scaife certainly picked up a position, but LP hanging right onto the bumper of the Sega Commodore. Very strong challenge under brakes, a little puff of smoke as he locks the inside front. But Scaife just bolting away a couple of car lengths as they come onto pit straight once again. So Lowndes 2.05 seconds. Here's Scaife now, forcing his way up through the field, up to 5th. And he's got John Bow ahead of him, and if Bow is having problems, it'll be interesting to see if he can scoop him up before the end of the race. There's Bow just going out of shot. And Scaife really hammering along here. 56.28 the last time around. No doubt about it, the HRT Commodores are far and away the fastest cars on the track, still operating in the low 55-second bracket. Everyone else in the 56s and up. So the Mobile Holden Racing team really have all the bases covered at Symmons Plains today. Totally dominant display by Lowndes and Peter Brock. Here's our championship leader, John Bow. Seaton's got in front, but he's not getting too far away from him, Brett.
No, which makes me think that quite possibly there was a misgear or something to allow them to change in position. But Glenn have to be happy with his result today. He's had not good starts, but a very workmanlike performance to get up to 3rd, and his pace has quickened up. Glenn now he's got a clear run, has dropped down into the low 54s, sorry, the low 55s, and he'll be sending out after the HRT cars.
Mark Scaife also fast on the track. And a challenge to John Bow, perhaps only a few laps away. There's Seaton and Bow, 3rd and 4th on the circuit. Through the right-hand sweeper, Mark Scaife. Position number 5, doing it for Team Sega in 1996. And a very precise driver. Let's have a look at one of the privateers, and in his debut performance in the Shell Touring Car Championship, it's Max Dumsney, Valvoline and Auto Pro. Max Dumsney, a former national NASCAR and sprint car champion, and is very much enjoying his stint on the road.
Yeah, he's doing a terrific job, Max. Only first time he had a run in the car was at the AGP, and he's showing good form here too.
Max doesn't have a lot of road racing experience, but he does have a lot of racing experience, which does count for a lot in these circumstances, and I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Well, he had a bit of fun out there in that rain yesterday. He's driving a 650 horsepower sprint car around the clay ovals of Australia. He's certainly used to hanging the tail out. And those conditions yesterday were very slippery, but Max didn't put a scratch on the car, qualified reasonably strongly, and he's putting in a strong performance here too, up to 13th position.
And the rise of Max Dumsney, I think, gentlemen, will surprise a lot of people. A very talented driver, and he has John Sidney Racing behind him, a very talented team. There is your race leader. The driver's name is Craig Lowndes. Still circulating in the 55-second bracket. And the young gun who performed so well in the opening 2 rounds at Eastern Creek and Sandown looks certain to return to the winner's circle here today.
Last time around, he's maintaining that gap. That's just over 2 seconds to his teammate Peter Brock, but that last time around, Brock almost matched him. It was 55.31 to 55.38. So Brock is getting a move on here, but he's got to get that 2-second gap down.
They've just come around to pass Gardner, who looks like he's got a bit of a problem and must be heading for the pits.
Well, they've had a wretched time. 3rd season now in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship for Coke, but Peter Brock showing consistency. Wins championships. He took the battle up to the Fords all the way through last year, took it right to the wire at Oran Park, and now slowly clawing his way back into this championship battle. He's 4th on points currently. And Wayne Gardner, well and truly out of proceedings after such a strong start. Qualified 3rd, was really in the battle.
Not going to the pits, going to the garages. So a nasty one for Wayne Gardner, and all in all, another happy day, I guess, for Team Coca-Cola Racing.
Well, they're desperately scratching for a result. And,
maybe at Indy.
Mobile Holden Racing team, meanwhile, dominating proceedings, 1st and 2nd position, 17 laps down. There'll be 18 when they come across the line this time to leave 2 remaining in this 3rd and final heat.
Glenn Seaton, it's the way he's doing it. Very casual behind the wheel is Glenn Seaton. The Ford Credit Falcon EF.
Certainly skipped away from John Bow. He's got a nice little buffer there.
Yeah.
And Glenn has a very relaxed driving position. He looks very, very comfortable in the car.
And he does usually has the drink bottle with the straw, and he just slowly but surely chews a hole in the straw. They have to replace it after each race.
Look at Mark Scaife here. 1.1 seconds the gap between him and John Bow. He's really chomping away at this, putting in some quick times too, a 55.9. Bow's last time around was a 56.6. So if John's struggling for speed, I'd say Scape will be ready to pounce.
A good battle, and we join Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit number 30 vehicle. Glenn, how is everything going?
Pretty good, Andy. Cruising along. I'm just getting a break from John now, but it was hard work to get past John, but he made a mistake coming on the pitch straight, and I got up the inside of him, so that's helped me tremendously.
I'll tell you what, Glenn, those Holden Racing Team Commodores are a bit quick here this weekend.
Yeah, they're dynamite, aren't they? Wait till we get to Philibala, though. That's the next round.
Another Ford competing here this afternoon, the Mitre 10 Falcon. Mark Larkham.
Having his best run in the series so far. He's up inside the top 10.
11th.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he just slipped back to 11th position that time around. But, yeah, it really has been a struggle for these guys. They entered touring car racing last year. A very trick car that they built themselves, engineered themselves, but didn't quite work out for them. Had some unreliability problems with the car, and it wasn't quite as quick as they'd hoped. But they've recently refitted the car with a lot of equipment from Harrop Engineering, which is one of the standards for privateer vehicles, touring car racing. And now the car is very reliable. Mark's happy with the speed he's getting out of it. Now making some progress, so good on him. 20 laps completed for Craig Lowndes. This is the final lap.
And he hasn't really skipped away from Brock to the extent that he has in the earlier races. I think he's probably just built that little buffer up and sat on it.
He gets 20 points here. Bow back in 4th position. 1 point in it. Lowndes will probably take the lead back in the championship. Meanwhile, Seager Holden race cam. You can see Scape closing on Bow over the last couple of circuits. Now he's right up alongside him.
I think John Bow knew that one was coming from Mark Scape, and their nose to tail. They actually touch. And John Bow with the widest Falcon ever at Symmons Plains.
Bow takes the right position too. He gets out on that. He's going to go right up the middle. Here's a 1-2 form finish for Holden Racing Team. Absolute domination, but there's a battle going a bit further down the field between John Bow and Mark Scape. Still not resolved. Bow in control, and he'll lead him across the start-finish line for the final time. Terrific comeback from Mark Scape.
Craig Lowndes, 3 from 3 today. Second was Peter Brock. The first of the Fords, Glenn Seaton, in third. He was followed by John Bow, a whisker back to Mark Scape. 6th position in heat number 3 was Larry Perkins. The Shell FAI Falcon of Dick Johnson was 7th. Tony Longhurst, Alan Jones, and the first of our privateers, Stephen Ellery, rounding out the 10. We'll have the winners after the break.
Last time, it was the thrill of a lifetime. Now at 8, would you dare plunge headfirst into a deadly drive?
Real thing now.
And the climb of terror.
This is really hard.
Who Dares wins, 8 o'clock Wednesday.
If you're planning a conference or a meeting for your group, you should think about Tasmania's premier conference and resort facility. Grindelwald Resort in the beautiful Tamar Valley is the ideal place for you. It's widely recognised as one of Tasmania's best and unique conference centres. Your group has the choice of staying in the superb European-style Grand Chateau Hotel or having their own fully equipped chalets. And at Grindelwald, you can arrange relaxing activities that will please everyone. A beautiful 9-hole golf course, water sports, swimming, tennis, and when there's time, they can just sit back and relax at Grindelwald. There's superb Tasmanian food and wine in the restaurant, peace and tranquility in one of the most beautiful parts of the state, at rates you'll find very pleasing. Grindelwald Resort has the facilities, staff and expertise to make your conference or meeting a real winner. They'll even guarantee it in writing. You and your group will really enjoy your meeting or conference at Grindelwald Resort.
Whiskers announce a breakthrough inspired by the ancient art of drying foods. By using real meat, cheese, eggs and fish, the new Whiskettes range captures the quality protein, essential fats, minerals, vitamins and fibre your cat needs. So you can be sure your cat is enjoying a perfectly balanced meal every day. New Whiskettes. No wonder happiness is a Whiskers cat.
Björk, her extraordinary album Post, featuring its Oh So Quiet, plus her stunning new single Hyper Ballad. Post, Now available as an Australian tour edition with a bonus 4-track CD. Look out for the bonus CD edition of Post, in store now.
A new breed of daredevils have arrived.
No pain, no gain, amigo.
The no-fear generation at its wildest.
Don't let go, buddy.
The most radical adventure series in years. Prepare yourself for Extreme Friday.
Indeed, welcome back, and a crushing 1-2 victory to Holden Racing Team at a critical time in the Shell Championship this year. But a guy doing a great job in the privateer division was Stephen Ellery. Congratulations, top place privateer today.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to thank my sponsors, firstly Yokohama, Chalgrave Contracting, MLC Communications, Tony Longhurst and his team. They've been fantastic towards me, all my team, and Ford. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Stephen. We'll see you at Phillip Island 3 weeks' time. Well done. And third place today, really struggling to fight off the onslaught of the Holden Commodores this afternoon, John Bow. Well done, John. Boy, those Holdens are quick around here, even on your home circuit.
Well, I must congratulate Craig and Peter and the Holden Racing Team. An absolutely dominant performance, and I think all it tells us is that us Ford guys have got to get our finger out and get a few benefits, don't we?
You think the Holdens are turning it around now in terms of overall speed? We always hear the Falcons have got this speed advantage thing, but they were very quick in qualifying, and they certainly had you covered here.
Well, I think they've been the strong team from the word go, and why that is, I don't know, but I must congratulate them. It was a fine effort.
Terrific. Well done, John. We'll look forward to seeing you at Phillip Island. Second place today, not quite quick enough to knock off the Whiz Kid, but a very strong performance from Peter Brock. Well done, Brocky. You're putting some excellent, very fast high laps there, but just not quite fast enough to knock off the boy today.
No, but I was very pleased with the way it all worked out, and you know, as far as the team is concerned, I mean, they're just absolutely delighted, as well they should be, for such a great job. I mean, to get two cars up, 1-2 on the grid, 1-2 in every heat, is a mammoth effort behind the scenes, and so my good friends at Mobile there, who stick with me through thick and thin. You know, it's been a wonderful, I think, overall result for Holden Racing Team. I'm delighted.
Looks like Craig's pretty quick with the clutch off the line there. 3 times he beat you into that first turn. I guess that's fairly critical with the competition as tight as it is.
Yeah, although the second heat, we were neck and neck in there, and it was sort of touch and go as to who'd get the jump, but it was Craig's corner. It was Craig's day. I mean, we all have moments when things go our way, and today Craig's driving was fantastic. The car was beautifully set up. It was just one of those days when it all does come together. My last heat showing was a lot better than the previous ones. I did a lot of chassis refiddling and with the boys there, and it was a delight to drive the last race.
Okay, Brocky, well done, and keeping your championship hopes very much alive.
Oh, yes.
And just at this moment, I'd like to call on Ross Brodie from the Shell Oil Company to make the presentation to the man who did an absolute demolition job on the race today, Craig Lowndes. Congratulations, Craig.
Thank you.
Pole position, 3 heats. You can't do any better than that.
It was a perfect round for us, but those races, although it may have looked easy, it definitely wasn't.
Now, it looked, as I said, it looked easy on the TV, but you said you were trying really, really hard to stay ahead of Peter in those 3 heats.
Well, fortunately enough, I had probably a bigger break in the first 2 races than I did in the third one. And the third one, Peter wasn't going to let me go, that was for sure.
Well, you got your championship chase back on track, and you're back in front of the points.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bridgestone. They did a wonderful job from yesterday in the wet and in the dry. Mobile and Holden and all the guys, you know, as Pete said, it takes a mammoth job to get both cars up on front.
Well done, Craig Lowndes. Winner here at Tasmania this afternoon. Andy Raymond, how's that points looking?
Craig Lowndes, a clean sweep here at Symmons Plains. He returns to the top of the points table. The defending champion, John Bow, 7 points in arrears. Third place is Glenn Seaton. Peter Brock remains in 4th, and for the first time this season, Mark Scape enters the 5. The Holden Racing Team dominating proceedings today, but Brad Jones, this championship, it's far from over.
Well, there's nothing between Bow and Lowndes, and they're definitely stood away from the rest of the field, and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of rounds, but I think that it's going to be a fight between the two of those.
Well, there's plenty more coming your way on 7 Sport. Super 12 Rugby, Northern Transvaal versus New South Wales and Queensland versus Canterbury. That on Saturday, March 23. Check your local guides. The nation's premier sporting program, Sports World with David Fordham. Every Sunday, once again, check your local guides for telecast details. And the next time the Touring Car Championship, it's round number 5, Sunday, April 14, from Phillip Island Raceway in Victoria. Well, could it be a Ford Blitz, or will Holden Racing Team continue their dominance over this year's championship? It's far from over, and we look forward to your company next time the touring cars hit the track.
Porsche, 60 years strong.